All right. I'm hoping that this time it works. I've filmed this so many times and it hasn't been focused on me. Got a new camera here. The reason for it is because I intend to do a lot more of these YouTube videos. So guys, let me know, what do you think of the quality on this video? Today's video is really important because I want to share with you how to break through in sales, because you can do all the training in the world. I know some of you watching this now, maybe you've been through my training and you're still not getting the results that you want. I'm not saying that my training doesn't work. It definitely works, and I've seen the results with countless companies and also individuals, but it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. If that individual doesn't have a breakthrough, if they don't like get this breakthrough to the next level, then they can have all the knowledge in the world, but it's not going to translate into their business or their career. Stick around if you want to learn how to get a breakthrough in sales, if you want to double, triple, even times 1,000 your income, because at the end of the day, sales is the one thing. If you're running your own business, or if you are in a job and you want to earn commission or bonus, then you need to get the sales bit figured out, because trust me on this, sales and effective selling and consistent selling does not happen by accident. Anybody can sell a product or a service once, even 10 times by accident. But if you want to sell your product or service day in, day out, week after week, month after year, month after month, month after year, and year after year, then you definitely need to have this breakthrough. On this channel, I'll be sharing a ton of videos. In fact, you can go through some of my past videos, the videos which are going to come after this. I'm going to share tools, hints, techniques, strategies, how to break through within your mind, which is kind of this video, in how to get more sales, because I was the worst salesperson ever, and I'm not afraid to admit that out of 300 people in the company I was working at who were in sales, I was 299th in revenue. And it took a lot of work, it took a lot of understanding what selling is all about, but then also being able to, and I'll repeat this, translate my knowledge into results. Without any further delay, let's get into today's topic of how do you break through in sales. Make sure you've got a pen and notepad handy. Sure, you can write in the comments, but ideally I want you to write this down, because if you ink it, then you're already getting that breakthrough, because you're making a decision and you can carry that notepad around with you, or at least, put it on your phone, save on your phone how you're going to get this breakthrough. Here's the situation. 5% of salespeople generate 95% of the revenue worldwide. That means that out of every 20 salespeople, one will generate more revenue than the other 19 like put together. I mean, it's just insane. There is, like, in sales, you don't really get like bad, average, and then you get amazing. What you tend to get, and of course there are exceptions to this rule, you'll get loads of people here, right, who are just like not doing well when it comes to sales. Maybe in your business right now, you're trying to start a business, and the one thing that you have fear of is like, how do I actually sell my product or service? And then you get like, I guess you get a few in the middle, but really you get like the 5% up here, just smashing it, killing it. And the fact is that they make it look easy. It's almost like the pro athlete makes their sport look so simple. In fact, they make it look so easy, you think, I can do that. And what we're really seeing though, when we watch a professional football player, a professional tennis player, we're not seeing all the hard work that they've put in. We're just seeing the tiny, like the 0.1% of what they want you to see. Most of their work is done in preparation, and it is the same with salespeople. Sure enough, there are a few naturally born salespeople, but I don't believe that the great salespeople, I'm talking about the legendary salespeople, are the ones that actually started out really well. They normally start very much a struggle, and that allows them to understand what doesn't work. You see, I'm always extremely thankful for the struggles and the challenges that I had, being the worst in my company at sales at the time. This is like, goodness, 15, 16 years ago. And then when I started my own business, figuring out for a few years and going through like so much just confusion in my own mind, wondering what I was doing wrong. And maybe you can relate to this in your life right now, but let me get to the good news. You can break through wherever you're at right now. Even if you're doing great and you're like, I know this is great, but I can do so much more. It's because you probably just haven't had that breakthrough yet. Make sense? Sure enough, you need your systems in place. You need a great strategy. You need to make sure you got the right product for your marketplace. The list goes on and on. But ultimately, it comes down to having a breakthrough. That's the most important thing. Write it down. Say, I must have a breakthrough in order to thrive in sales. The only way you're going to have this is, number one, by making a decision that there is a breakthrough that you haven't had just yet. And sharing my background, going way back to when I was doing almost zero revenue every single week in the job that I was in. And then I remember going to bed one night and saying, tomorrow when I wake up, things will be different. I will have a shift, and I decide that when I work with my clients, that I'm going in to fully help them. And it's all of a sudden the shift happened overnight. It was almost like my unconscious went to work on my problem overnight. And the following morning I woke up and I did feel different. And instead of going into my next consultation thinking, oh my goodness, am I going to have a struggle again, right? I went in with a pure intention of, how do I help this person in the most selfless way? I'll never forget, because the product that I was selling was $1,232. I was working in the US at the time, right? I remember $1,232. And in my head, I remember thinking, I'm just going to say it's $600. But what the lady needed was the $1,232 program. So I just said it. I went, it'll be $1,232 if you want to move forward. And she went, great. Where do I sign? And I was like, oh my goodness. It was like the first $1,000 sale I'd ever made. So I was like, high five me, right? Since then, without bragging, I've gone on to sell six-figure solutions multiple times. Most of my company, we do a lot of consulting. The average sale is worth anything between 30 to 70,000, but we've done sales below that and also much higher. But I have a very different relationship with sales. And in order for you to have a success when it comes to selling, I want you to think about it this way. How is your relationship with sales right now? And if you go and ask or interview 100 different people and you say, how do you feel about selling? Most people have what I would call a negative relationship with sales. They're like, oh, I'm just not really a salesperson. I don't like to sell. I just like to give a good service. But this is how it works, right? If that's how you talk about selling, and if you show in your body language, and that's what people do, they kind of like, yeah, and they get all kind of weird when it comes to talking about sales. If that's happening, if you're having that reaction, then what do you think is going on unconsciously when you are with your client? Because you can't have a conflict in your mind. And what I mean by that is that you can't be wanting to help your client on one side and saying, I really want to sell my product or service to this customer or client because it's going to help them. But then on the flip side of it, be like, oh, I really don't want to sell to them. Like, I don't want it. Geez, I mean, like, that already creates like a block. It's like if I say to you right now, think of a salesperson. What do you imagine? Do you imagine someone who is consultative, someone who really deeply cares about their customer, somebody who has empathy and will ask all the right questions and will inspire and engage their customer to a point where the customer's like, yeah, I'm ready to do this? Or do you think about a salesperson as like a 1995 car salesperson, briefcase, big collars, cigar? Because that's how most people think of a salesperson. They're like, a salesperson's this, I don't want to be that. If you sell any product or service, or you're in the game of business, you are a salesperson. And until you identify in your mind that selling is a good thing, that you are actually helping that person, and with your product or service, that person, or if you're selling to companies, that company, until they buy from you, they may not get the solution, and therefore they're going to continue to struggle. They're not going to reach the next level in the area that you help them, until that is a connection between your mind and body, because your mind and body are one system. And what I mean by this is that we can have the right knowledge, but because it's not connected with our physiology, that even though we know, and you know what I'm saying right now, like you know that what I'm saying is true, but if you don't have that connection with your body, then knowledge will be there, but your body be like, no, I'm not good with sales. To have a breakthrough, you must first of all decide to have a better relationship with selling and see it as a positive. See it that you are helping. See it that you are making a difference in that person or that company. And only then can you start to build that confidence when you're going into every single meeting. So this is just me sharing how I was able to overcome the blocks and the limiting beliefs that I had in my own mind about sales. And then you'll notice what I said earlier is that you will then go from walking into a sales meeting or a consultation and making it all about you, like, oh my goodness, I'm so anxious, or I just need to hit my target and I need to sell to this person, and you'll flip the switch and you'll make it about them. Most people are broke because they are thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about helping others, but that's for another YouTube video. It's the same in sales as well. If you're not selling successfully, it's because you haven't had that breakthrough. You haven't yet switched over to I will help this person on a real level. Helping someone also means that you walk into the meeting, or you jump on maybe you're jumping on a Skype call with them, because that's how you do your business, because we do things online now, and you're going in already knowing it's a yes. This has always been one of my secret weapons for sales success, and it's knowing that every single person that's come to see me, I didn't drag them there. I did not go and pull them off the street and say you need to buy my product. They have inquired, or they've come across my work, they've found out what I can do to help their business, and by the time they get to me, they're already moving towards a yes. But it's making that firm decision in my own mind and knowing with complete conviction that when I walk into a sales meeting, that they're already a yes. All I need to do is do some education with them on what steps they need to take, from there understand their ultimate goal and see if there's anything blocking them. It's almost like a coaching session, and it just leads to a yes. By doing this, I've closed countless deals over the years. In fact, as you know, not to brag, but over the last 6 years, I work with over 400 companies and thousands of individuals. However, when it comes down to me going in and having to negotiate or having to influence, because then maybe I don't want to move them to a yes, or maybe they're looking at other consultants that they can work with, I've been able to have that calmness. And remember, in a negotiation or you go into a sales meeting, it is about you keeping the power, and that means that you're the calmest person. If they get like up or down emotionally, then you've already got them, because now you're the alpha, right? And in the jungle, that's how it works. And as human beings, we still go off that coding that we have in the brain, or that software which is playing to survive. So if someone feels like, wow, they're around an authority, like you are the person to be around in that particular area that you can help them in, and then on top of that you have the likability, then it's all just going to come together. But you have to have that breakthrough first. The sale starts in the mind of the seller. If you're not sold on you, if you're not sold on your product, then it's already game over. And sure, you will sell by luck or by chance here and there, but to have a true breakthrough, it's knowing that, number one, you have to have a better relationship with that word sales. If you hate selling and you talk about how much you hate to sell, then you will come up against objections. In the world or the arena of sales, every person you meet with will be a mirror of you. On top of that, the objections that you come across will simply be a reflection. So what this means is that if you have an objection around price and you're weird about that this is too expensive, then you're going to run into a whole load of price objections. If you feel like you don't believe in your product, then you're going to meet people who are not convinced by your product or by your sales conversation. It is about making that decision, having a better relationship with that whole world of sales. And then from there, knowing that every single person you see, they're already a yes. And then finally, it's understanding you're not there to sell a product or service. You're really there to sell a result. And if you are a personal trainer, then you should care more than anybody else about every single client that you see, or potential client, that you're going to get them in the best shape of their life. Like, I'm not going to go and sell a part solution. If I'm going to sell cars, I don't want somebody to come in and just be like, oh, you're interested in buying the steering wheel. They want to buy the whole freaking car. Nobody wants another product to put on their shelf. Nobody wants a personal training session. They want to be in the best shape of their life. They want that product to be a game changer in their business or their life, whatever it is. See, I have accounting software. I've been paying the accounting software company for 6 years. And the reason for it is because it completely resolves my issues around doing my accounts. And my accountant has access to it, and it makes my whole life easy for invoicing, for my accounts, everything. But they're not selling, oh, this is invoicing software. They're literally selling, this is your entire solution. Perfect. People don't want to go shopping all over the place to find some kind of like product or service that's going to help them. What they prefer to do is come across someone who has that complete conviction, that certainty, and is an expert in that one thing that they offer. You don't need to be an expert in everything. I said it at the beginning of this video, there's a lot of things I don't know, but what I do know, I understand on a deep level. And that's actually always been a great way that I've been able to win business, because I am very open. I'm like, listen, I don't understand this, but I get this bit about your business, and I understand this on a extremely deep level, and what I'm going to be able to do is help you get this, which will help everything else. So you don't need to know everything, but you do need to know the one thing that you are offering. That's my rant for today. Let me know in the comments what you're going to do. Getting a breakthrough, it starts with decision. If you want the next step on this, drop me a little message, and then from there we're going to keep going. We're going to keep rolling. Confidence, business, sales. Let's do this.